The iPhone 18 Pro models will continue to feature a triple lens rear camera setup. Okay, well, if they took a camera away, that would be a problem. With wide, ultra wide, and telephoto lenses, but the main wide angle lens could get an upgrade. Rumors suggest Apple will add a variable aperture, which would allow users to control the amount of light that's hitting the lens for better performance in low lighting conditions and more control over depth of field. All prior iPhones have had fixed apertures. The thing that I worry about with this is that a variable aperture would basically add another moving part. And anytime that you add a moving part, it's just another thing that can break. So I'm not really sure I like that all that much. But then again, I'm sure that I don't have to turn it on if I don't want to. I could probably just keep it all the way open to the brightest possible setting if I so desire. And you know what? That would probably produce the best pictures quality-wise and, dynamic range-wise anyway. That said, I have heard that Apple is possibly going to make a camera sensor, which they've never done, from what I'm aware, a camera sensor with 20 stops of dynamic range. We'll get back to the article quickly, but we're going to look up what that means. 20 stops dynamic range. Let's see. A 20-stop dynamic range is a massive leap in camera sensor technology, allowing capture of extreme detail. Was this written by Apple? In bright highlights and deep shadows simultaneously, far exceeding current smartphone sensors and rivaling high-end cinema cameras like ARRI Alexa. I think RE is a brand, ARRI. Recently, Apple patented a sensor design LOIC with stacked pixels and adjustable sensitivity to achieve this, promising near-human eye perception, a 1,048,576 to 1 contrast ratio. That's crazy. And potential to revolutionize mobile filmmaking, though it's a patent and not yet a commercial product. Wow. Now, what is LOIC? Lateral Overflow Integration Capacitor Camera Sensor is an advanced CMOS imaging technology notably being developed by Apple and used by companies like OmniVision that dramatically boosts high dynamic range. Okay, we were just looking at that. By allowing pixels to store excess light in overflow capacitors. That sounds insanely cool. But will it actually work? Capturing extreme detail in both bright highlights and dark shadows simultaneously, potentially rivaling cinema cameras with up to 20 stops of range for more natural, lifelike mobile photos and videos, while also reducing noise and reliance on third-party suppliers. Because if there's one thing you have to know about Apple, they really like to make everything in the entire device. And so that way they can control all of their hardware, so that way their own, again, in-house proprietary self-developed software can run mind-bogglingly smoothly and well, unless you look at iOS 26 too closely. But yeah, if they could actually have that level of control over the cameras, there is no knowing how good the iPhone's camera could get. I'm not sure if iPhone 18 Pro, whatever, maybe the Air 2, is going to get this new camera sensor. We don't know that yet, but it could happen. Let's see. It's easy to accidentally... Okay, so they might also... they might tweak the camera control button, eliminating the swipe-based touch gestures and the haptic feedback. It is easy to accidentally change image parameters when taking a photo because of the camera control button's swipe controls, which reminds me, you're not supposed to call it camera control button. It's just camera control. Whatever, Apple. Okay, but let's see. Apple added a setting to disable the swipe functionality in iOS 26 after user complaints, but the button might be better off without swipe functionality at all. So they might just make it a button that basically launches the camera, which, by the way, is something that Android phones have been doing. Android double-click power button. Origin. I'm going to bet this has been going on for like 10 years. So let's see. The double tap power button to launch the camera originated as a convenient quick launch shortcut appearing on various Android phones like Sony, Samsung, and Pixel for fast access. Although its implementation and customization, in other words, choosing different apps, changed across Android versions, with newer ones focused on the default camera for simplicity, but the core function remains a popular way to quickly access the camera from sleep or the lock screen by adjusting settings. Okay, so the feature often... So it started in... like Android 9 or 10. So it's been around for a long time because Android 9 or 10, Android 10 release date 2019. So this has been going on for like 7 years, and with the iPhone 16 series, like at the end of 2024, Apple finally added something that's kind of similar. And yet at the same time, let's not neglect the fact that the action key could also do the same thing. You could also get the action key to launch the camera as well, if you so desire, provided you have an iPhone 15 Pro or any of the iPhone 16s or 17s, and I'm going to assume 18s because I don't think Apple would ever remove a button from something. Hopefully not. We don't know. They certainly didn't load this thing up with ports. There's 2 C's and MagSafe and 1 solitary headphone jack, and that's all you get. But it's still a good laptop in spite of all that. It's a very reliable laptop. The battery has been at 100% the entire time that we've been filming this. I mean, we're in low power mode, but we've been screen recording, which involves writing data to the internal storage. That can take a lot of power. But anyway, to get back to this article on Mac rumors, Apple might make the camera control button not able to detect swipes. So like they'll remove the touch sensitive layer. The button might actually be better off without it because it's just, that could be a thing. It's just a button that launches the camera. It just gets you into the camera, which is something Apple talks about a lot with new iPhone releases. It's like, and this time we've brought an all new 48 megapixel Fusion camera. We can't wait for you to try it. You know, we've seen that a few times by now.